For latest astrology videos, subscribe AstroEdify channel and press this bell icon to get notified when a new video goes live.
Hello everybody, welcome to AstroEdify. Today we are going to talk about various concepts in Vedic astrology which are considered as the integral part of the fundamental understanding of Jyotish. And since we are going through the basic series of the Vedic astrology, so these certain aspects, or mainly which we say particular fundamental concepts, they become very important to understand. So we are going to see that when a planet get combust, or what actually is combustion of a planet, and what kind of results can we expect if a planet is getting combust. Then what is Gandanta position, what is Badhak, and marnakaraka situations, or Mrityubhag, what is Mrityubhag. And also we will talk about retrogression of planets and the graha yuddha, means when two planets engage in planetary war. So these are certain terms which are which, if you are already familiar with astrology, you might have heard about them, but how they are studied, what they are, and what do they actually represent, and how their results manifest in a chart, that we will discuss today. So let's start this video. If you want to book a consultation for yourself, you can go on this website. The link is given in the description. And before moving on, I would like to say that I have already made several videos in a Jyotish basic series. If you have not watched them, you can watch it in the playlist of the channel. It's shown in the card section above. Now we are going to proceed ahead, and we will start with what does combustion means. Now, first of all, you might have heard that planets, whenever they are very close to sun, they become combust. Now see, what actually combustion means is that astronomically also, when a planet becomes invisible to the naked eye as viewed from the earth, when you observe from the earth, and any planet becomes invisible to you because of its close conjunction or nearness to the sun, then it is technically known as the heliacal setting of a planet, or which we say that planet is becoming combust in the chart. And hence the planet which is getting combust, it is said that it loses its strength. Now there are various longitudinal distances with respect to particular planet from the sun, as it has been mentioned here, like moon. It is said that moon, when it is in 12 degrees difference, means 12-degree distance from the sun, it gets combust. Mars, for Mars it is 17 degrees, for Mercury it is 14 degrees, Jupiter is 11 degrees, Venus is 10 degrees, then Saturn is 15 degrees. Rahu and Ketu do not get combust, rather they form eclipse on the sun itself. So the thing here is that there are various distances, or longitudinal distances or degrees for each particular planet, which has been stated in the as per the rules of the Jyotish. But the point here is that any planet technically is considered to be fully combust if it is in 5-degree gap from the sun. If it is very close to sun, means it is within 5 degrees from the sun, then it is considered fully combust. And if it is going to be exactly at the degrees of the sun itself, then it has lost all the power. So the thing here is that this is what combustion means, that any planet which is going to be very close to sun, it loses its strength, because sun is a huge ball of fire, and any planet which is going to go near the sun, it's going to burn up. Now the thing here is that how it's understood in the chart is that combust planet loses its physical significations, but not the inherent qualities or significations. Now what does it mean? Let's suppose Mercury is getting combust now, and Mercury is a planet which is mostly close to sun. It is mostly seen in the chart that it has capacity to withstand the fire of sun, because mostly sun and Mercury are close to each other. Now the thing here is that if Mercury is falling within the 5 degrees or gap with the sun, or it's very near to sun, that what happens is that that some of the physical significations, it depends on the chart, that what that planet represents in the chart, or what it controls in the chart. Let's suppose Mercury is governing your health, its 6th lord, or Mercury is governing your marriage, its 7th lord, or Mercury is governing your 2nd or 11th house, it's the lord of your finances and wealth and savings. So that physical signification is going to be disturbed. It is going to be burnt up by the sun, and hence that planet cannot bring too much good results with respect to the areas which it materially signifies. but the inherent significations of planet are never lost. Mercury represents intelligence, learning, understanding, logic, reason, analysis. That is what Mercury is. You have to see the sign of the planet. Remember that sign plays a very vital role. If Mercury is afflicted in a bad sign, then the situation is different. But if Mercury is in a good sign and it's not afflicted, it's just combust, then it shows that the inherent qualities of that planet are not going to be lost. So Mercury will not bring problems related to learning, understanding, education, intelligence, cleverness, smartness, communication. These things do not become too much of a hurdle, but you need to see the sign. Sign plays a very, very vital role. Mere combustion does not mean that the planet is going to lose its inherent qualities. Inherent qualities are not lost. That is seen from the affliction or the sign in which the planet is placed. But if the sign is fine and planet is not afflicted by other planets and only combustion is happening, then it means that the physical significations are going to be somewhat affected, and the inherent significations which the planet actually represents, no matter what, are not going to be hindered too much. So that is how you have to see. And let's suppose, as I said, if Mercury is not well placed in this example which we have took, then it shows that, let's suppose Mercury is controlling your finances, so it can show financial problems or fluctuations or financial instability. If it is governing your marriage, it shows problems in relationship or marital life, some kind of problems. And if it is governing your health, let's suppose it can show poor health issues over a period of time. So you have to see and analyze in this way. And similarly, it is for every planet. Let's suppose we say Venus. Now Venus is getting combust, and Sun and Venus are enemies also. Now Venus, if it is getting combust, then Venus will lose its physical signification which it is controlling in the chart. Let's suppose Venus is governing your marriage. The material marriage is a material signification. Remember that, marriage and relationship. So if Venus is getting combust, it is not considered healthy or good for marriage and relationship for anybody. But the point here is that its inherent signification, let's suppose Venus is creativity, arts, beauty, and imagination, emotions, all those things. So that part is not going to be lost. That is going to be there. You can use the creativity in any kind of perspective. It does not mean that a person is going to be working in creative field. It can be or it cannot be. But the point here is that the level of creativity, the level of imagination, the level of what you can say, understanding the facets of beauty, they are going to be somewhat present. That can be seen in the chart. But if we talk about the physical signification, they are going to be lost. Keeping in mind what Venus is ruling, the houses which Venus is ruling in the chart. So if it is ruling your 5th house, it can show fertility problems, childbirth issues, relationship issues, problem in education, some kind. Those things can be seen. So that depends on the house which the planet is ruling. But the inherent significations are never lost. This is the main point which I wanted to make here. So next time when you see any planet is getting combust, you have to see that at what kind of degree difference it is getting combust. The more the degree difference, the better situation it is. And you have also to see that in the chart that what kind of houses it is ruling. If it is very much combust with the sun, then it will lose the physical material aspects of the houses which it is governing in the chart, but it is not going to lose its actual inherent qualities that cannot be burnt by sun. So this is how combustion has to be seen in the chart. Next point here, we will talk about Gandanta. What does Gandanta mean? Now see here, when a planet or the lagna is in transition position from one sign to another. So each sign is 30 degrees long and each planet travels in a particular zodiac sign. That is that happens all the time. So point here is that let's suppose any planet. Let's take example that moon is in Aries. And if it is in Aries, it is at, let's suppose it is at 0 degree 20 minutes. So it has just entered the sign of Aries. So it has so any planet which is between 0 to 1 degrees in any initial degrees of any sign, it is termed as Gandanta position. And similarly, if it is at the ending degrees between 29 to 30 degrees, then also it is termed as Gandanta position. But this Gandanta position is more important when if the planet is between 0 to 0 degree 30 minutes and from 29 degree 30 minutes to 30 degrees. So the last 30-minute range is specifically the main part of the Gandanta. But in general, we take that the last 1 degree difference is taken as the Gandanta position, but mainly 30 minute is the actual one. So the thing here is that it can happen with any planet, and it can happen with the Lagna also. The Lagna also has a degree. It has a particular degree at which your ascendant is rising. So if the Lagna is also at 0 degree, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, or between 0 to 1 degree, or 29 to 30 degree, between this difference, then it means that the Lagna is getting in Gandanta position. Now the thing here is that Gandanta planet give results from 2 houses. That is how you have to see, because let's suppose, as I took the example of moon. Now moon, if it is in Aries and it has just entered the Aries sign, it is, let's suppose moon is at 0 degree 30 minute in Aries sign. Now this moon has just entered the Aries sign, so it will from Pisces. So who is before Aries? That is Pisces. So moon has traveled from Pisces into Aries just now. So it is going to give partial result from Pisces also, because it has not fully entered into Aries completely. That's the point. So the thing here is that Gandanta planet give results from the 2 houses. One where they are going, and one from where they are coming. So if let's suppose we take the example of ending degrees. Let's suppose Jupiter is in Pisces and it's at 29 degree 40 minutes. So this Jupiter is at the last degree of Pisces and it is about to enter the Aries sign. So Jupiter will give partial results from Aries also, not only Pisces but also Aries also. So this is how the Gandanta planet has to be studied. Now generally Gandanta planet is considered weak, okay, because any planet which is in transition position, particularly if it is in a transition position of a zodiac sign which is not comfortable for that planet, then it becomes very vulnerable situation for that particular planet. So the point here is that Gandanta planet are generally not considered strong, even or even if they are in a good sign, but only in a situation until and unless they are not close to the Lagna degrees. Let's suppose your Lagna degree is at 1 degree, 1 degree, and let's suppose any planet is in Gandanta, but it is at 0 degree 30 minutes, 0 degree 20 minutes, or near to 1 degree. So it means that that planet is not going to be considered weak. It's going to be strong because it is near to the Lagna degrees. That is the only exception where we treat the Gandanta planet as strong. Otherwise, the Gandanta planet will be considered weak if it is far from the Lagna degrees. That is the point which you have to keep in mind. And the best example for this is our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. He has Lagna in Gandanta degrees and 3 planets in Gandanta degrees: Mercury, Sun, and Rahu Ketu, and I think Moon also. Near about 4 planets, what I remember. They are near, but all of them are near to the Lagna. They are very, very close to the Lagna. So the thing here is that in his case, all the planets, despite having low degrees, they are not considered weak. They are not considered dead. They are not considered infant. They are considered very powerful and strong. That is a very good example in order to understand this position. But the point here is that as I already said, Gandanta planet is seen from 2 particular houses, from where it is coming and where it is going, and it is normally considered weak, not strong, until and unless it is not close to the Lagna degrees. That is how you have to see the Gandanta position. Now we will talk about the Badhak. What does Badhak means? Now Badhak literally means anything which creates obstruction. Badha means obstacles. So for a particular signs, let's suppose if you have the movable Lagna, it depends on the Lagna, your ascendant. So if you have movable ascendant rising, if you have Aries, Cancer, Libra or Capricorn ascendant, then your Badhak will be 11th lord. 11th house will become the Badhak. Then for fixed Lagnas, that is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio and Aquarius, if you have this ascendants, then the 9th lord will become the Badhak. And for dual signs, dual Lagnas, that is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, the 7th lord becomes the Badhak. So the lord of these houses particularly means 11th lord for movable signs, then 9th lord for fixed Lagnas, and the 7th lord for the dual signs, dual lagnas respectively, they become the Badhakesh. Means they have capacity to create obstacles or obstructions of any kind in the life. It depends where that planet is going. But see, Badhak, if it is badly placed, you have to see this, that if it is badly placed and it is associating with malefics and making bad combinations, malefic yogas, doshas in the chart, then only it gives bad results. It is not the thumb rule that merely being the Badhakesh, if the planet is not bad and if the planet is well placed in the chart, it's not going to bring obstacles. That is not always the case. So Badhak only gets activated if it is associated with other malefics in the chart, Marak planets in the chart, sitting in bad houses and making malefic yogas or the doshas in the chart. Then that Badhak planet will bring more negative results in the chart. But if that Badhak planet is favorably situated, not badly placed, making good combinations, then it is not going to give bad results. That is how you have to see. Okay, so this is the misconception in mind that Badhak is always bad. Badhak is not always bad. Badhak is only bad when it makes bad combinations or doshas in the chart. Otherwise, not. That is how you have to look at the Badhak. So now we will talk about retrogression. Now see here, speed of a planet in an orbit around the sun varies depending upon its distance from the sun. And this is according to Kepler's second law. So planet is fastest at the perihelion and slowest at the ephelion. That is what it states. So how retrogression is seen is that this movement is direct in reality. No planet is actually retrograde in reality. But from the geocentric perspective, planets sometimes appear to move in backward motion in their orbit. So this phenomena is known as retrogression of a planet. Okay. So retrogression of a planet actually does not take place in the solar system, but from a geocentric perspective, it appears to move backward. That it feels like that. So that impact is known as retrogression, and how it is seen, that we will discuss. Now the thing here is that this phenomenon is applicable to Venus and Mercury, the inner planets, and the outer planets, that is Mars, Saturn and Jupiter. Rahu and Ketu are always retrograde. They are never direct. I have already made video on what are Rahu, Ketu. You can see their astronomical significance as well in that video. But these 5 planets are retrograde. Sun is never retrograde, Moon is never retrograde. So whenever Mercury and Venus, they are ahead of Sun, means for Mercury it is 15 to 27 degree difference, and for Venus it is 27 to 47 degree difference. If they are ahead of Sun with this particular degree difference, then they become retrograde. And for Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, they become retrograde when they are between 120 degree to 240 degree range away from the Sun. That is, whenever they are in 5th, 6th, 7th or 8th house from the Sun, mostly they become retrograde. This is the common rule. Now retrograde planets, how you have to study them is that retrograde planets give result from 2 houses. I have already made the video on this, that how you have to study the retrogression of the planet, and with particular examples I have taken and shown that how retrograde planet can be studied and how you have to analyze its position in the chart. You can watch that video. The link is shown in the cards as well as it is shown in the description as well. But retrograde planet, for your information, I will tell that it gives result from the 2 houses, one from where it is sitting and one from the previous house from where it is sitting. Let's suppose Jupiter is retrograde in 10th house. So if Jupiter is retrograde in 10th house, then this Jupiter will not only give a result from the 10th house, but also partial results will be seen from the 9th house as well. So you have to study that how that particular planet is going to associate with the previous house. If let's suppose other planets are sitting in 9th house, so it will have partial relation with them also. So that becomes somewhat tricky to understand and somewhat complicated to actually come to a result or conclusion while studying or analyzing a chart. But in general, as I told you, that retrograde planet gave a result from 2 houses, the house they are sitting in and the one behind them. That you have to see. And for more, as I said, watch the video which I asked you to watch. It shows in detail that how retrograde planet function and how you have to analyze their position in the chart. Now we will talk about the graha yuddha. What is graha yuddha? Graha yuddha literally means planetary war. So when two planets are within 1 degree of each other, then they enter into graha yuddha. And the planet which loses in the war, which becomes weak and suffers. That is the thumb rule. So even if two planets are friends to each other, let's suppose Sun and Mars are friends, but if they are in 1 degree gap of each other, then what will happen? First of all, Sun will burn Mars, so Mars will get combust. But you have to see the sign. If Sun is also in a bad sign, then Sun will also lose the power. But the point here is that any time two planets are sitting together and they are within 1 degree gap of each other, not more than that, within 1 degree gap of each other, then only they enter into graha yuddha. And you have to see who is winning the battle, who is powerful in that conjunction. The planet which wins the battle, that the signification related to that planet will be fine. But the planet which loses in the war, it becomes weak. And the significations or the things which governs in the chart, they suffer a lot. So it can be anything. Any planet which is losing the battle in the graha yuddha, anything which it governs, it can be health, family, marriage, career, finances, anything. It is going to suffer. And not only that, the natural significations of that planet will also suffer. Let's suppose Venus loses the battle in a planetary war. With any planet, let's take Mars. Mars and Venus are very close to each other and within 1 degree gap, and Venus is losing the battle. Let's suppose Mars and Venus are in Aries. So obviously Mars will win because Mars is in its own sign. So what will happen? That Venus will suffer terribly. So when Venus will suffer, what will happen here? That Venus will lose its natural significations like marriage, relationships, and happiness. Venus governs your ability to feel pleasure and happiness and internal satisfaction. That will also be lost. Then Venus, which the things which it governs in the chart, they will also suffer. Let's suppose it controls your health. Health will go down. So that is just an example to understand that whenever a planet is entering into a planetary war, the loser will not only will become weak, but will suffer terribly, and the areas which it governs, they are also going to be not giving any good result whatsoever in life. That is how you have to understand graha yuddha. Now we will talk about Mrityubhag. What does Mrityubhag means? Now this is a table which you can see. For a particular planet in a particular zodiac sign at a particular degree, they enter into Mrityubhag position. Okay, so Mrityubhag position means, Mrityu means death, Bhag means position, means the position for a planet where it ultimately dies. It loses all the power, it loses all the strength. So it means that any planet, even though if they are well placed, let's suppose Sun is in Aries, you can see in the table that if Sun is in Aries, but if it is at 20 degrees plus minus 20 minutes, there is a range. Now I will tell you the range for each planet. For Sun, it is plus minus 20 minutes. So the degrees plus minus 20 minutes range. If Sun falls into that range in that particular zodiac sign, then it will enter into Mrityubhag position. For example, Sun is in Aries, but it is at 20 degree plus minus 20 minutes. So between 19 degree 40 minutes to 20 degree 20 minutes. This Sun is going to be in Mrityubhag position, means despite being exalted, this Sun is not going to have any power. No power whatsoever, zero. So the thing here is that you have to see that a planet, if it is sitting in a particular zodiac sign and it falls into that particular range of degrees where it falls into Mrityubhag position, then it will have no power whatsoever, even if it is exalted or in own sign or in a friendly sign. But if it is debilitated or it is an enemy sign or if it is afflicted, then it is the worst case scenario, because that planet is not only going to be weak but is also going to be afflicted and will be a strong malefic in the chart. The things related to that particular planet will suffer. terribly suffer. It depends on the situation in the chart. But the point here is that the degree difference I was talking about, for sun it is plus minus 20 degrees. For moon, Mercury and the Lagna, it is plus minus 40 minutes. The range is plus minus 40 minutes. And for all rest of the planets, the range is plus minus 15 minutes. So this is the range for Mrityubhag for all the planets. Now how you have to assess is, any planet which is going in Mrityubhag, you have to see that what kind of yogas it is making. If it is, as I said, if it is afflicted, and if it is making bad doshas in the chart, and if it is badly placed in Navamsha as well, and it is a malefic in the chart, functional malefic or marak or anything like that, then that planet will become the worst enemy in the chart. Means anytime the dasha or the time periods related to that planet will come, it is going to create a lot of problems, particularly in the areas which it governs in the chart. It can be anything. And not only that, remember that any planet which is in Mrityubhag, the other planets which are dependent on this planet, they will also lose the power. This is another position. Let's suppose, as I said, let's suppose take Venus. Venus is in Mrityubhag. Now Venus controls two zodiac signs, Taurus and Libra. So if Venus is in Mrityubhag and it is badly placed in the chart, let's suppose Venus is in Virgo. Now Venus is debilitated in Virgo. And for Virgo, if Venus, you can see the table, Venus 13 degrees. So let's suppose Venus is at 13 degrees Virgo. Now this Venus is bad because Venus is debilitated. Venus is in Mrityubhag, no power whatsoever. And let's suppose take it as that Venus is here Sagittarius ascendant, because now for Sagittarius ascendant, Venus will become a malefic. It is 6th lord, so, or 11th lord. So what will happen here is that this Venus is very bad. Now the point here is that the other planets which are sitting in the sign of Venus, they will also lose the power. So if any planet is sitting in Taurus or Libra, they will also have no strength whatsoever. And at the same time, any planet which is sitting in the nakshatra of Venus, constellation of Venus, that will also have no power. So any planet which is dependent on Venus, because Venus does not have any power in itself, so it cannot support other planets also which are dependent upon it. So Venus, in this example which I have taken, is not going to support any planet which is sitting in its zodiac signs as well as the nakshatras. So this becomes a really bad situation because multiple planets are losing the strength. And this can happen with the Lagna also. But if the Lagna is entering into Mrityubhag, then the situation is very poor because Lagna governs the entire strength of the chart. So if the Lagna is in Mrityubhag, then the entire horoscope becomes weak. That is a very negative situation. So Mrityubhag is a very important particular alignment or placement or situation of a planet which you have to analyze very carefully, because multiple planets can be affected by just one Mrityubhag planetary situation in the chart, or the entire chart could also be affected if the Lagna is in Mrityubhag. So that you have to, Lagna or the Lagna Lord, so that you have to keep in mind that this situation of Mrityubhag is not considered good. So how you have to check it, that I have said, but the table here also shows what are the exact degrees. I have told you the range. So this is how Mrityubhag situation is analyzed and checked in the chart. Now lastly, we will talk about the marnakaraka situation. Now marnakaraka means any planet naturally loses its strength in a particular house. It does not depend on the zodiac sign, but in a particular house. Let's suppose for Saturn. Saturn becomes marnakaraka, means loses its strength in the first house no matter what. Even if Saturn is exalted, then also somehow Saturn is not considered very well in the first house. Similarly, other planets. So for Saturn it is first house, for Jupiter it is third house, for Mercury and Ketu it is fourth house, for Venus it is sixth house, Mars is seventh house, Moon is eighth house, Rahu is ninth house, and Sun is 12th house. So these are the houses in which these particular planets, whenever they are sitting in any zodiac sign whatsoever, so they are going to lose somewhat of their power, and they do not feel comfortable in these houses. So if they are well placed, then it means that these planets are going to bring good results, no doubt. But if they are badly placed, if they are not in affliction or in bad yogas or in inimical signs, then it shows that these planets will further be losing their strength in the chart. So naturally, it does not mean that if Saturn is in the first house, it's going to be bad. No, it loses some of its power. It's like you are uncomfortable. It's just like that. It's like you are in a situation where you do not want to be. It's an uncomfortable situation for you, even though, let's suppose, you get a good environment there. You are sitting in a good sign. Let's suppose Saturn, as I said, is exalted or in own sign. Is still, Saturn somewhat feels does not very well in the first house, so it creates some kind of difficulties there. Similarly for Mars, even though Mars is exalted in seventh house, it's not considered good, because for Mars, seventh house is a marnakaraka situation, means Mars loses its strength and does not feel very comfortable there. It's going to create some or the other way some harm there, that can be seen. So this is how it is judged for all the planets. That why that how this marnakaraka situation has to be seen, and it is logical for every planet. Like for Sun in 12th house, because Sun is your ego and 12th house is liberation. So ego is the thing which brings you alive, brings you into this world. It gives you your identity. But 12th house means I have reached back to my original absolute state, and I have no false ego whatsoever. So Sun loses all the power in 12th house. But if Sun is well placed in 12th house, it is good situation for spiritual life. If it is badly placed, then it creates self-confidence issues, low self-esteem, self-doubt, personality issues, personality disorders. That depends on the chart. But you have to see, not merely being in the 12th house Sun is bad. You have to see the situation, the yogas, how Sun is placed, and similarly for all other planets respectively. But marnakarak, how it is seen, that I have told to you, that what are the houses which are considered marnakarak for every planet. So today we have talked about multiple things which are very, very important in Vedic astrology. We talked about combustion, Gandanta, Badhak, retrogression, graha, yuddha, Mrityubhag, and marnakarak. So I hope that you would have got a clear understanding of these concepts and how to analyze them, how to see them, and what do they mean, that we have discussed in detail. Next time we will talk about certain other interesting facts and other topics in Vedic astrology which will be covered. Till then, I think I have covered everything here regarding these things. So if you are new to my channel, subscribe below. For more, check on my website and Facebook page and Instagram. Their links are shown in the description as well. We will meet in the next video otherwise. Till then, goodbye and thank you.